The 2026 RBC Heritage, we're going to give you outright winners. Draftkings Darlings, which continue to hit props, everything, outrights, you name it, we got you covered. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Andy Lang. Welcome to the Cut Line. I'm being joined, as always, by my fellow golf betting expert, Yann. Before we get to all of our picks and tales from the courtesy tent, Yann, takeaways from the 2026 Masters, now that we've had time to digest it.
I did actually make a list, but like how scarily disappointing last week was, it just played very different to how I think we all thought it would be. I mean, Rory, he's just the best player of this generation. He can outlast so many of these guys at any sort of test. Very impressive to watch, and clearly more majors to come from him. Lowry still sucks. Shot an 80 on the final round. Was stupidly flattered by his 2 holes in one. He continues to be a fade, although I actually quite like him this week. Hao Tong Lee also shot an 80 on round 4, but that was a truly monumental first 3 rounds from him. I said at the start of the year, this guy is legit. And when he's at those trappy courses that require serious course management and a bit of class, he can compete. Justin Rose, all class, continues to impress, loves that track and will be worth taking again next year. Bryson missing the cut, genuinely a pathetic effort for all the tools he has. Minwoo Lee going 11 over in 2 rounds is baffling. I'm going to stick with him. I don't think 2 rounds defines you, but my God, that was bad. And Nico Echeverria went 13 over in his 2 rounds, so he probably wins outright this week.
That is quite the list. My biggest takeaway was it was kind of an uninteresting tournament. I don't tune into the Masters to see watered down greens. I know they wanted to get oohs and ahs for the new audience, and that's fine, but I can watch that every week. I don't want to watch the Masters to see guys holding the green on 13 and 12, and I thought it really took away from some of the edginess of what the Masters can be. Once Rory gets out to -6, I mean, he fumbled a little bit on the weekend. When you have a 6-shot lead, guys got to play perfect, absolutely perfect, or have him implode. So I thought it took away some of the drama, and honestly, they should be ashamed of themselves for watering the greens the way they did, man. I thought it was disgusting. I think we may have Xander Schauffele back to his form. That was a takeaway for me. Cameron Young is I'm wondering if he's consistent now, but I just can't get myself to trust him. We'll get to him in a few categories. Ludwig Ober, kind of a ho-hum 21st place finish. That was a little bit disappointing. Colin Morikawa, where did that come from?
How did he do that, man? Crazy.
He burned me bad, but 7th place is pretty impressive, especially when he was not swinging hard off of on a course that requires you to be long. He wasn't even swinging that hard, and he still got 7th. So, another guy, I'll mention him a couple times throughout the show, but I was asking you before, how much would the PGA and the Masters give to go back in time and make it to where Justin Rose wins that year at the Masters and not Sergio Garcia?
I mean, everyone's rooting for Justin Rose, aren't they? He's just the people's champion. He's the players' champion, and of all people, Sergio Garcia. It's just the worst possible outcome.
Just destroying tees, goes to live, unlikable as all get out, and somehow he wins, and Justin Rose doesn't have a green jacket. It's just like an all-time like moment in time. Like, man, I can't believe that happened. And then the last note is just Patrick Reed, man, Mr. Augusta. The guy is it looks like he's just going to be in our lives at the Masters every single year, and he's going to continue to be a great value in the betting markets. So I'm all for it. So, all right. Well, let's get into Tales from the Courtesy Tent, and it was a great week, as always, for Tales from the Courtesy Tent. Tournament hasn't even started yet, and at the par 3 contest where all the golfers have their kids hitting putts, chips, playing in the sand, Wyndham Clark says the par 3 contest is the best form of birth control. So Wyndham Clark is off and running. He's almost kind of becoming the villain that I like to have in my life. So that was interesting. Bryson takes 3 shots to get out of a greenside bunker. It was like he'd never played out of a bunker before on the first day. And it was like, we're getting this Bryson this week. And then he bitches about his own club that he made with a 3D printer. And it's like, I don't understand why he needs to do that. Like companies do. He does realize companies can do this for him, right? Like you don't need to be making your own clubs. Fred Couples was -2 through 14 on Thursday, proceeds to shoot +8 on the next 3 holes. He gets a pass though. So we move to Friday. Bryson takes a few more shots out of the bunker on 18 and misses the cut. I just had an opposite of Tales from the Courtesy Tent. I thought the commercials of the kids recreating some iconic shots at the Masters was just so well done, and it was such a cool idea. Whoever came up with that was really cool. So, but then we move on to Hal Tong Lee that you mentioned. I believe we have a picture of this one. So first off, Hal Tong Lee is like playing in the leaders, and he takes a 10 on a par 5 and the broadcast doesn't show anything. You have to go back to masters.com to see this. If you would have given me a million guesses what course this shot was at, I never would have gotten to Augusta. I don't think I've ever seen anyone playing a ball from there. Like
it's the part of the golf course you're never meant to see. That's the point.
It's really, really bizarre. So those are your tales from the Courtesy Tent. Them not showing the shots on the broadcast was just, but broadcast really struggled. I find myself watching the feature groups and the featured holes way more at Masters than I do than I do the broadcast. That broadcast just struggles mightily. So, all right, but we move to Harbour Town here. So, let me pull up what we got here. Let's do our one and done. Minwoo Lee really struggled last week for you. I got Shoffley, a top 10 finish. I think that's pretty decent. I'll be happy with that one. A lot of Bryson's. Bryson just crushed just about everybody this week. That was a brutal one. So who did you end up on this week?
I am taking Russell Henley this week. Perfect profile for this track, super accurate, can find fairways and greens and give himself plenty of birdie opportunities. He's come 8th, 12th and 19th in his last 3 visits here. Came 3rd in the Masters last week. He looked exceptional. Just couldn't quite make enough putts, but my God, his irons look fantastic. And alongside 13th place in the Players and 6th at the Arnold Palmer, Russell Henley has quietly been one of the best players on tour this year. He's had 2 missed cuts in 2026, but every other comp he's had top 20 finishes. His consistency is just such a huge asset. Russell Henley just has everything you want for this assignment and is a big outright contender, in my opinion.
I'd have to agree. In our contest, and this is at this point in the season, it kind of depends who you have left and where are you at in the standings. So I'm a little bit low in the standing. So I'm going to swing for the fences and I am going to use my Scotty Scheffler this week. I'm stepping in and he looked great last week. He's starting to get a little attitude about him, which is just like, whoa, he's starting to snip at people. And I think he's really pissed off at what happened last week. So he looked better. I was worried about the fade the baby theory. That was no big deal. And he loves playing here. He's won this course before, which is kind of weird because it's not a long course. And you think, normally he, needs a course to be long to have his big advantage, but his short game and irons just fits really well here. I don't think a lot of people are going to be using him this week because it's not a major, but I will step up and use Scotty Scheffler as my start this week. So, all right, course preview. We're at Harbour Town. You really can't get a whole lot different from one course to the other. You go from Augusta to this one. It's a par 71 layout, just over 7,200 yards. It's fairly short. A lot of shot shaping, accuracy. You can kind of overpower it a little bit, but it's really just about accuracy. The big thing here is just it's some of the smallest greens on tour, so you're going to have to get a lot of up and downs. Again, it depends on the fairways. It looks like the weather is going to be beautiful this week, so don't expect any real big wind. And if you can hold the greens, which is tough to do, you're going to have a huge advantage. But expect, guys, this is one of the rare courses where around the green stats you kind of have to pay a little bit of attention to. I believe they were saying hitting 70% of greens this week will be pretty good. So what's your take on Harbour Town?
Yeah, really simple course for me here. Just the narrow fairways. You've got to be accurate. And the way you succeed here is course management and setting up the right angles to the green. You need to be accurate with irons. Fundamentally, it's a second and third shot golf course. And then you've got to make putts like always. But this isn't a hard putting test. It's just an added bonus. Got to touch on the weather. Total lack of rain in this area the last few months. No rain expected this week from what I can see, which means we should be seeing super fast greens, which will cause a lot of problems on approach and bring in those around the green players. So overall, the profile you want is accuracy and then approach putting around the green with the biggest focus on approach and around the green, in my opinion. And just a quick side note, this course did get restored after last year's comp. I can't see any real differences. Seems to be more a maintenance thing than anything else, but it's worth mentioning. I like this course a lot. It's a different and unique golf course, and this week should be more fun than last week.
It's gonna be amazing when these greens are faster and harder to manage than Augusta. So it would be funny if they did that this week. We'll give a little bite to it. So, all right, let's go to total strokes gained. We're going to take a look at total strokes gained for the last 3 months here. And kind of no surprise at the top, Scheffler makes it up there. Jake Knapp still playing well. Colin Morikawa is up there. Cameron Young, Jacob Bridgman's probably one that sticks out. Anything of note here in this lineup here, Yann?
There's a few guys that are creeping towards the top that I think we should be keeping quite a serious eye on, like Maverick McNeely, Akshay Bhatia, Thigala, Harris English as well. I think all of these guys just continue to be massively undervalued in betting markets, but no real thoughts. I mean, now that we've had 10 events, at least the data's starting to come through and the classier guys are there and you can see what areas guys are playing well in and making course fits a bit easier now.
All right, let's move to players that can trip you up. Last week, I did good with McIntyre. He missed the cut. Fitzpatrick was, he was okay. And I talked about Scheffler, so obviously not a great call there. So tough field this week. I'm trying to figure out some big name guys that I think people are going to be betting on. And here to say, they might be a little overpriced. And I'll go with Xander Schauffele. I know I mentioned that he might be back, but he's being priced as like the second favorite in the outright markets, but the course history, not quite there. I think he's got one top 15 finish here. He finished 18th here the last 2 years. Around the green, he's actually losing a little bit of strokes, minus 0.04 the last 30 days. So that's a concern. Greens are tough to hit. So if the greens are fast, that short game, I'm just not sure he's going to return top 5 value. So Xander Schauffele might disappoint a little bit. I am going to put Cameron Young in this category. I'm not sure I'm ready there to buy into this. I mean, he's red hot, 4 straight top 7s, but his course history here is awful. 54th, 62nd, and 51st here the last 3 years. So this is, for whatever reason, not a good fit. Maybe he's found something different. Maybe it comes up, but in a loaded field, I just can't get there with a guy who's been truly awful here. I mean, these aren't full fields either. Like, he's finished 54th and 62nd in like short fields. So I'm not excited to play on Cameron Young this week. If I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be sitting on the sidelines, but I think he's going to be popular. And then, sorry, Yann, I'm going back to Matthew Fitzpatrick. I know he won here in 2023. Results then kind of taking a step back, 28th and 38th the last 2 years, and he's still being priced top 5. It just feels pretty aggressive. Big concern is a putter. One of the he's got the worst total strokes gained in the top 16 players in this field over the last 30 days on putting. So we're putting, and short game matters. It's a red flag. I think he's going to be a little bit overpriced. I mentioned to you I want to save my Fitzpatrick start in one and done for a little bit later on. I just don't think this is a course that sets up where he should be top 5. So Xander Schauffele, Cameron Young, Matthew Fitzpatrick are 3 players that I think can trip you up. We move on to top 10 or missed cut. I had Morikawa as the top 10 missed cut. And I did not expect top 10, but he did it. Who do you have for top 10 or miscut?
I'm taking Chris Gotter up this week. He has more PGA wins than miscuts this year, but hear me out. This isn't a traditional bombing course, which takes away his biggest asset. So you are starting with a red flag. He's never played here before either. That would put me off. But he has really good irons and a decent short game. He has some serious things going against him this week, but his overall profile and consistency means he has every chance of doing really well. I can see him being wayward off the tee and putting himself in some awkward positions before he even gets a chance to figure out what this course is even all about. But he can just play his game and do perfectly fine or even compete outright. I just have no idea what you're going to see from Chris Gotter up this week, making him a great candidate for miscut or top 10.
And we should say, we know that there's no cut here. So it's basically top 10 or you suck.
Yes.
Yes. so we know you can't miss the cut. So this should just be top 10 or outside the top 50. So I'll go Daniel Berger. Last 2 tournaments he's played in this year, missed cut in 66th. I think it would stun everyone to know he finished 3rd here last year. I have no recollection of that whatsoever. But yeah, he's shown he can miss the cut and be terrible this year. But he's shown he can play well here. So Daniel Berger will be mine. We'll move on to head-to-heads. I'll let you go first. What's your first head-to-head?
I'll be honest, the matchups I was given this week are truly disgusting, but I have found one of interest. I'm taking Patrick Cantlay over Ludwig Aubert. Cantlay just loves this place. 5 top 3 finishes, a 7th place finish, and a 13th place finish in 7 of his 8 visits to Harbour Town. He just loves this assignment. He can really plot his way around here and he can manage this course better than anyone. I love Aubert. He's probably the 3rd best player in the world for me, but this is the week after his big focus of the year, and he came 54th in this last year. I just think the lack of driving opportunities is a big negative for Oberg this week, with Cantlay fighting to get back in the PGA winners enclosure after like 3 or 4 years out, and Oberg potentially totally overlooking this week with last week's efforts firmly in mind. Cantlay is the right side for me on this one.
I found a couple, and I'm going to get real sneaky. Last week, I had Max Homa over Brian Harman, which won. They're coming back and giving us the exact same matchup, and I want Brian Harman over Max Homa on this course. And we talked about last week, Homa just gets amped up for the Masters, and then he just sucks at this tournament. This man finished 70th and 55th. I went back and looked, Yann. The last 2 years, Brian Harman has finished a combined 30 strokes ahead of Max Homa. It has taken Max Homa 30 more strokes to get the ball in the cup the last 2 years here than Brian Harman. That's almost a front 9. So we talked about it last week, and honestly, Harman made the cut. It was decent, and that's a course that sets up terrible for him. This is right up his alley. Accurate, don't need to be long off the tee, be good with the short game. So I got Harman over Homa. And then I just have to point out that Jake Knapp over Victor Hovland. Jake Knapp is plus money. Hovland's been pretty good, plays pretty good here. If you're going to give me plus money on Jake Knapp over a guy like Hovland, when are they going to start putting Knapp up in that upper echelon?
It's just so disrespectful to how well Knapp's played these last 2, 3, 4 months. So disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, Hovland has been good. It's not like he's been a disaster, but what's Hovland's Achilles heel? Short game. So, maybe you get some good value in that one. So, all right, top finishers. Last week we had Patrick Reed top 10 with a nice cash. Knapp top 40 to cash. What's your first top finisher?
I'm taking Siwoo Kim top 20. Minus 125, including ties. When you talk about accuracy golf courses, you want Siwoo Kim. He's just going to find every fairway and leave himself really manageable second shots. And he has the around the green skills to get himself out of trouble if he's missing a few greens anyway. He gets away with his tragic putting this week too, in my opinion. This just isn't a putting course for the most part. He was 8th in this last year, 18th the year before. He's had 6 top 20s in 10 events this year, and this course just really suits him. If his putting isn't a total disaster or his irons are on song, this is a winnable event for him. Top 20 is just a really good way to play Siwoo Kim.
I keep mentioning, but you're going to give me plus 104, including ties on Jake Knapp to finish top 20. He has 6 top 20s this season. It's more than Scotty Scheffler. I mean, he's doing it in big fields. Like, what more do you need to see from this guy? Like, he's second in the field in total strokes gained. He's ahead of Morikawa, Cam Young, Schauffele, Fitzpatrick, Henley. He's above all of these guys. He seems to be course proof. That's the other thing, is he's doing it on all these different courses and different greens. So I'll continue to play Jake Knapp. What's your second one?
I'm going to take Sepp Straka, top 20, plus 130, including ties. This just feels like a course that Sepp can show his class on. He is accurate. He's a classy ball striker when he's on song. He's solid around the green. He ticks every box. He has some really solid finishes this year. 8th in the Players, 13th in the Arnold Palmer. That would give him every chance this week. He always goes well around here. He's finished 13th here last year, 5th in 2024, and 3rd in 2022. I just always find him pretty underrated in betting markets. The guy's a 4-time PGA winner and a 2-time Ryder Cupper. He is very classy. I don't understand why this one is plus money, so Sepp Straka has every chance of top 20 this week.
I saw a matchup with him over Shane Lowry, and I was like, oh, I really want to take Straka, but you're right. Lowry was not a disaster last week outside of the one round, but he actually put together 3 pretty decent rounds. So, all right, my second one, kind of coming out of nowhere here. I can get a good price on Gary Woodland in the top 40. I just look at his last 3 tournaments, 33rd win and 14th. And that puts him 14th in the field in total strokes gained the last 30 days. I was going to fade him off of the win, and he did the right thing. He withdrew from the tournament, so we didn't see him, and he rested up at 33rd at the Masters for him. That's really good. He does not have good course history here, but I'm just wondering if he found something here. This is not a deep field. Looks like his game looks pretty good. I just can't ignore 3 really good finishes, including a win. So maybe Gary Woodland is on the upswing. I'll take him in the top 40. All right, outright winners. We both landed on Cam Young. He didn't get home, but pretty solid pick, 3rd place. I don't feel bad about that pick. Who do you like for this week?
I'm actually going to talk about 3 guys here. One at a very short price, one around 60 to 1, and one at a massive price. Let's start with the big one. Matt Wallace, 150 to 1. Has played this course 4 times. He knows the layout and what's required. He does have an 18th place finish here. Last time we saw him, he came 2nd in the Valspar 2 weeks ago. If that Matt Wallace turns up, he will make a total mockery of this price. The profile just fits. His best attribute is iron play and accuracy. I'm not saying he wins this, but there is a world in which top 10, top 20, top 40 finish happens, and you can make a bit of money having Wallace on your card. Secondly, Ryo Hisatsune at 60 to 1. His price is all value. I think his around the green skills are being totally overlooked. 5 top 20s in his last 8 events. He's just super consistent, and an iron accuracy around the green course is really going to suit him. Came 18th on his tournament debut last year. If he improves on that performance, this price will look silly. I think he has every chance if he gets rolling, and the price is just too good not to take. And I'll end with my most likely winner and my close personal friend, Matthew Thomas Fitzpatrick. Former champion here. This course just sets up perfectly for his game. His irons are unreal right now, and that just gives him every chance of going well this week. He's a great course manager. He comes into this in great form with 18th in the Masters last week, a win at the Valspar, and a 2nd at the Players. The only downside is putting with Fitz, but this isn't a true putting test. Average putting season with a top 10 finish here, I think. Fitzy just ticks every box, and I expect him to contend.
It's so funny, you and I just going head to head on Matthew
every week,
week in, week out. Okay, so I had for my outright winner Scotty Scheffler, but I already touched on that in one and dones. I had Cantlay circled. You've already talked about him. I will just throw out Colin Morikawa at 23 to 1, who miraculously seems to be healed. And if you can do that without swinging full speed off the tee, you can certainly do that here. His approach is plus 1.3 in the last 3 months. There is nobody better in the field. I'm looking at, like, literally he's the best on approach. That's more than double Scheffler. Around the green, plus 0.18. It's not great, but it's better than Knapp. It's the same as Cam Young. It's better than Bridgman. It's better than Schauffele. Putting is decent, plus 0.43. I just watched that guy navigate Augusta on a bad back, and if he's choosing to play again this week, then that just tells me the issue isn't there, and it makes you wonder if he didn't, what would it have been like if he would have been 100% last week. So I'll just throw out Colin Morikawa for that one. So real quick, guys, please hit the like button. Leave us a comment below. Tell us who you like. Hope you had a great week at the Masters. Honestly, our bets were not that good. I really got tripped up when they watered the greens. I thought the course was going to play tough on Friday, so I lost some daily. So if you got the 7 days from last week, we're just going to extend it for this week. So I can do better with some of the bets. We want to show you what we can do. So you don't need to worry about getting the 7 days if you got it last week. We've extended that out. So, all right, let's go to DraftKings Darlings. Another smashing week with DraftKings. Literally the only lineup that lost was the Live guys. Did not have Bryson missing the cut. Yeah, and I mean, look at some of these finishes here. First, fourth, 50th, 8th, 42nd, 12th. Those are in like some big time, like bigger pools. And I do have to point out the all injury lineup crushed. Absolutely crushed. Rory Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Sung J M, Charles Schwartzel, Gary Woodland. I mean, this thing was insane. I thought it was a joke, and boy, was I proven wrong. So hilarious. What a wacky world. But the real lineup that we sent out, that one cashed in every single tournament. So let's do this week's DraftKings Darlings. I'm stunned at the value on Tony Finau, 6,600. It's way too cheap for the upside he brings here. No cut contest, so you're going to get 4 rounds out of all these guys. He's made 6 straight cuts. He's got finishes of 38th, 12th, and 31st here the last 3 years, so that's good enough course history for me. He's one of the lower priced guys in the field. Putting and driving accuracy can be inconsistent, but over 4 rounds, I don't, he's going to be there in the top 40 probably. So Tony Finau is the first one. Brian Harman, we talked about. He's only 7,000 on DraftKings. Perfect fit. Just played well at a venue that does not suit him. Now he's made 6 straight cuts. Course history is amazing. 3rd, 12th, and 7th the last 3 years. And I picked this guy not because I enjoy trying to pronounce his name, but because he continues to cash. Yella Maraju at 7,200. Not bad. Good momentum. He did not play last week, but before that, 14th, 5th, and 6th in his previous 3 starts. His putting has been outstanding, plus 0.66 strokes gained. Huge weapon on a course like that. Around the green, not great, but at 7,200, and I'm guaranteed 4 rounds, he gives you some pretty good upside. So Tony Finau, Brian Harman, and Yella Maraju are going to be the DraftKings Darlings. And as always, the full lineup is posted for free on the articles page on Wager Talk. Just go to wagertalk.com and click on the news feed, and you'll see the golf article. So we have a lot of great specials that are up. We've got our summer spectacular. You get a nice discount for all of our plays going through August 31st. That's knocked down to $749, and that's every single sport that we have. Yann is continuing to crush in cricket. Dan's coming off yet another sweep in lacrosse. Tennis has been rocking and rolling, and we got NBA and NHL playoffs showing. So we look to continue a really good 2026. So if you're interested in something long-term, that's where you can find that over on the deals page. Thanks so much for joining us. Please hit the like button on the way out. Leave us a comment. Tell us who you like this week. I love reading to all your comments and responding to them and seeing who you guys are on. Appreciate you guys for watching. We'll see you everyone next week. Take care.